Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, Magnetic Reversal News, Sacred Geography, and Shinrin Yoku, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Sunday, December 18th, around 9 p.m. Mountain Time 2022. Take a look at the models. The newest run showing snow in South Florida right before Christmas. Could be a record breaker. But the big story is record, dangerous cold. We're talking historic cold. Keep calm. It's boom time. This cold plume is moving in and will break records. Bitter cold expected over the holiday week in some areas of the U.S. And we will get to those models in just a minute. White Christmas watch. Extreme cold likely with snow possible in 48 states. The latest snowfall totals from the Northeast mega dump that just ended. New York saw 26 inches in Whiteface, 20 inches in Gore. Awesome ski resort. 19 in Bel-Air, 18 in Hunter. Wyndham saw 18. Vermont saw 22 to 28 in Bromley, 27 in Okemo, 25 in Killington and Magic Mountain, 24 at Stratton, 23 at Mad River Glen. Similar totals in New Hampshire, 24 at Wildcat, 24 at Waterville, 21 at Loon, 18 at Attaché. Maine saw 28 plus at Sugarloaf, 24 at Sunday River, 20 plus at Saddleback. So the Northeast getting buried with the global warming goodness like a beast. Christmas week forecast, a frigid Arctic outbreak with the coldest air mass of the winter season and a major winter storm headed our way. If you subscribe to our Twitter at Diamond the Dave, you will get the latest updates. We now have 4,214 followers. Thank you to all our new followers over at our blue check verified Oppenheimer Ranch Project news site, where you can get propaganda-free science, news, and insight. All you got to do is, well, subscribe to Oppenheimer Ranch at Diamond the Dave, and you will see all the updates before the videos come out. Now, there are also extreme cold warnings issued for caribou and other areas of Canada where minus 40 C wind chills and lower are expected. So heads up. And then we have this story. A powerful incoming Kona low storm system prompted advice to be prepared yesterday, but apparently airlines did not prepare. And a flight just moments ago, Hawaii flight was rocked by severe turbulence as it was just 30 minutes before it hit the island. And it was leaving from Phoenix. It left 11 seriously injured, 36 people injured in total. 20 were transported for medical treatment, and now 11 seriously injured, including a child, due to severe turbulence. Many people got knocked out, so I can only imagine the turbulence that they experienced. Now let's take a look at the entire country as a whole and move it through. Here is your Monday. You're going to see some snow. It appears as if there'll be a little bit of snow in East Kansas as this system is moving east. Snow will move up into Wisconsin and Minnesota. Say it ain't soda. And then take a look at this next system. Starting on the 22nd, a system is going to dip down through the northwest, bringing heavy snow to the Cascades, into Idaho, Montana, and then, yeah, take a look. Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas. Oh, and if you've been missing out in Indiana or Illinois, you're going to be getting it, as well as Top Knot's boyhood home there. Take a look at Michigan. Top Knot could be seeing 2-3 feet here from this system. But overall, the Northeast is going to be spared. The storm has been slowly moving to the west day after day in the model runs, and it's now showing that the major cities are going to be snow-free, except for a little strip here, it appears, that comes up in the model at a very bizarre time. Let's see if we can move this back. You'll see the progression here. So the first blast moves through, then there's a second blast on the 24th. So this is a 1-2 punch. Starting on Thursday, the 22nd, through Friday night, the 23rd, there's your first punch. And then here, Christmas Eve day. Hey, all the way to Christmas morning. So that's when you're going to be picking it up there big time in Michigan. So heads up. And also, we've got that sliver of snow showing up in Florida. Now let's move this through. Here's the 22nd, Thursday into Friday morning. all day Friday, where we're going to pick up snow in maybe all the southern tier states. Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina going to be picking up a sliver. So almost every state, including, wait for it, Florida. Take a look at that. That sliver's forecast to fall on Christmas Day, hey. So it could be a white Christmas miracle. Now let's talk about the dangerous cold. And let's just bring this back to when that cold enters the picture. Here we are on the 19th. You can see that dangerous cold entering British Columbia and Alberta there. That's going to start to dip into Montana and North and South Dakota with lows by December 21st in the minus 20s, minus 27 in North Dakota there in Minnesota. And then that cold is going to reach all the way over into Wisconsin by the 21st. Here's the 22nd. By the 22nd, we're going to get those dangerous minus 40-degree colds pushing down into western Montana as well as Idaho. All of Wyoming will be freezing cold for 24 hours. Hours of powers. The high won't even get above 10 the next day. Here is December 24th, and look at that plume hooking in here for Christmas Eve. Holy macaroni. Negative digits coming all the way down to the south. Look at these temperatures in the southern states. 8, 10, 7, 4. These will be record-breaking lows. Look at that freeze line pushing in to Florida. By Christmas Day will be the iguana apocalypse, and it is going to be cold on Christmas Day in Florida. Take a look at that. It will not get above 40 for the entire day, Christmas Day in Florida. People are going to lose their minds. Mark my words. It's going to be a cold Christmas Day and a day after in Florida where it barely gets above 50 degrees. Until, thankfully, Tuesday, December 28th, when the entire country moderates. What a Christmas blessing. Seismic update. I hope you're bundled up and you've got extra water and extra wood because it's coming. No one's bumming. Take a look at this. Seismic map looking all quiet for the most part on the Western Front. Nothing really quite spectacular. 5.0 in Peru at 100 kilometers. Nothing to go see there. This is the most recent quake, 2.9 in Smiths Ferry, Idaho. I don't know. Earthquake with magnitude of 3.8 in Katla volcano is something of note, and that is in the southern portion of Iceland, while we also have an earthquake swarm continuing 47 kilometers east of Fonti in eastern Iceland. So two areas. Here's the eastern Iceland flurry of activity offshore, and then here we have, well, Katla volcano is right there in the middle of that glacier, and you can see that activity at Katla. That is the entire overall seismic signature from both events, and it seems to be quieting down, so that's good news. Worldwide volcano news update. There are really no volcanoes of note to discuss. Everything is erupting at normal levels. Pavlov, in fact, activity has stopped and alert level is dropped to yellow. Space weather news update. Now, you may have noticed if you go and use SolarHam that he took the site completely down. This is after the site had been hacked. So we're going to be using the Space Weather Prediction Center here at NOAA, where we can see the sun and the X-ray flux. The flaring is calmed down over the last 24 hours. We're down in low C range. Proton flux is dropping down. KP is barely getting above 2. And let's just play these for you. It's the last 24 hours on the sun. Here we can see the last 24 hours as far as coronal mass ejections. Some small flaring activity, mostly off the backside and off the limbs. Nothing is headed towards Earth. The aurora forecast looks pretty bleak overall. The only thing we have to worry about potentially affecting the solar wind are these two coronal holes, which should be coupling with us in just about 24 hours. And here we are at the Discover Solar Wind, where we can see that the BZ is shifting. We're going to wait for the phi angle to twist. This looks like a small CME just hit. So that's pumping up the density. It should bring the speed up a little, but overall the speed is very low. This is going to have to climb up above 500 to get any geomagnetic activity. So all is quiet on the Western Front as far as space weather. Now, we did have a very interesting sun-diving comet come in the last 24 hours. Look in the bottom left here. I'm circling it, and I'll just move that through frame by frame so you can watch that sun-diving comet if you missed it on Magnetic Reversal News earlier this morning. beautiful sun-diving comet, and also quite a large bolide there. That is a large piece of rock headed towards the sun, about to have some fun. And look, it makes it almost all the way in, potentially all the way in. I can see that streak all the way until it's occulted by the disk there. So, and what in fact does happen after it hits the backside of the sun, you can see some of that plasma tail coming off right there. There is a discharge to the top right. And we usually see when there are sun-diving comets on the sun, there's that first discharge. Boom. Little reaction from the sun as that comet hits. So let's see if we can move this back for you. Get that comet back out here. And you can see that plasma tail streaming out as I reverse the video. And there she is. Look at that beauty. That is quite a nice space rock with plasma tail diving into the sun. And let's just play it through one final time for you. Let's back it all the way up and let's hit play. Gorgeous. Now, two worlds orbiting a nearby star could be more than half water. The only problem with this is that we barely know about our own planets and our own moons well, we barely know about our own planets and the moons in our solar system, let alone the depths of our oceans, and how we can claim that a solar system 218 light years away, we know what's on the planets, is completely asinine. And then they draw pictures of oceans. And these two planets are amazing, and we may go and habitate them one day. I'll tell you what, I was born on Earth. I'm an Earthling, and I will never leave this planet. And anyone who does, they are going to be, well, they are going to have a rude awakening because they're from Earth. Now, NASA cancels a climate change satellite to monitor greenhouse gases. Well, I thought this was the most pressing issue of the entire planet. Haven't all world leaders said that? How could NASA cancel the most important satellite to the safety of our future? As we give billions of dollars to foreign countries for foreign wars, we can't afford the most important satellite to save humanity? Well, it just goes to show that the whole show is a joke. Now, aren't we in the next mass extinction? Well, guess what? An extinct creature just appeared on the Galapagos Island 5,000 years later. Yeah, a gecko once thought to be extinct was found in the Galapagos and only known by fossils. In fact, a healthy population of geckos has been documented, which once thought hadn't lived on the island for 5,000 years. And look at this little cutie. I mean, look at that guy. He didn't just spontaneously show up. Neither did the Adena people, or what some people call the Mound Builders. Now, all these names given to ancient Native American cultures, well, actually, they're native cultures. We called this place America. They didn't. But the Mound Builders are the most curious and the most hidden. Almost all the artifacts were stolen by the Smithsonian and have been hidden in the basements of all the largest museums, time immemorial. But one escaped, the most important piece of the puzzle. And this came from an Ohio mound. We've talked extensively about Serpent Mound, the Hopewell people, the Hopewell airburst. But do you know about this artifact right here? And the archaeologist that worked on it, Mills and his team, discovered that the mound that they found this artifact in was built in two phases, as most of the mounds were. They were built about 2,500 years ago as the first phase, and then fixed around 1,500 years ago during a secondary culture. Now, these are the same people just 1,000 years later, called a different thing. Ding, ding. That's how stupid archaeologists are. And please, don't quote me on that, but any archaeologist that wants to debate me on that, please send me an email at oppenheimerranch@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to accommodate your nonsense. Now, this is the artifact in question. An artifact so spectacular, it has been named the State Artifact of Ohio. And it's a pipe. I wonder what they smoked in that. It's made of Ohio pipestone. What else would it be made of? And it is in the form of an Edina man. That's what they call it. Or at least what we think the Edina was based on the mound and location. Now, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. This is exactly the same as Mayan figurines. There are no other figurines that look exactly the same as this one except Mayan figurines. And yet, let's get another one up here. Take a look at that. Boom. Same square box on the head. Same flowing thing off the back and two big earplugs. Flowing thing, two flowing, square box, flowing things, two earbuds. Huh. They're not related. That's just a coincidence. And that is the state of archaeology. The truth has been hidden. The natives that lived in the Americas 2,500 years ago spanned from central Mexico, maybe even central South America, all the way up to Canada. Same people. Same bad archaeologists that didn't get the memo. Hello. Now, why is Earth suddenly spinning faster? Well, it has nothing to do with the magnetic excursion. It has nothing to do with pole flip. It has nothing to do with micronova. The Earth has been spinning faster since the Earth was the Earth. Did you know that 1.7 billion years ago, that a day was only 19 hours? I bet you didn't, but I just dropped that bomb. If we wind the clock back 1.4 billion years, the day would pass in less than 19 hours. On average, the Earth days have been getting longer rather than shorter by about 74,000th of a second each year. So any shortening in the day is a small aberration in the lengthening of the day, because the lengthening of the day has been happening for millions and millions of years. There are some things that can change locally the speed of the Earth, but only for a limited time. Loss of ice, strong winds, and warm oceans. Here, they're even claiming that El Nino can slow down the planet's spin, extending the day by a fraction of a millisecond. But we're now in triple dip La Nina and maybe going into a quadruple La Nina, the opposite of El Nino, which would speed up the planet's spin for the last 4 years, just like we've seen. Is it a conspiracy? No. But some people make it out to be something that it isn't. Now, what will be something that is the December night sky. And we've got a few incredible things left to come on our plate, including Mercury, December 21st. Mercury emerges as the evening star around the 10th, when it sets an hour after the sun. At a magnitude of negative 0.6, it's easily located in binoculars about 5 degrees to the upper left of Venus. And then December 23rd, we have a new moon. That'll be a good night to sleep for insomniacs. And then on the 24th is the big boom, the Christmas Eve Trinity. On this evening, Venus will team up with Mercury and a slender waxing crescent moon to form a triangle. This striking arrangement will appear as a lovely celestial Christmas ornament on Christmas Eve. Just look southwest, 30 minutes after sunset, for your local time, low in the twilight evening sky. Well, and the view, if you're looking southwest, should be magical, a Christmas miracle, with the moon and crescent and Mercury just above Venus forming a triangle. A Christmas miracle triangle. Now, Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine is linked to blood clotting and 3 other major side effects. And the mainstream media is claiming, wow, it's not anything. According to the study, they say they can't conclude anything. And that's exactly what the study concludes, because it was funded by the very money funders that want to kill you. Now, according to the conclusions in the paper, our new findings of statistical signals for 4 important outcomes for the BNT 162b2 vaccine should be interpreted cautiously. Now, when they mean 4 important outcomes, these mean deadly side effects. They're not 4 important outcomes. They are 4 deadly outcomes for the BNT 162b2 vaccine. And according to the team, they should be interpreted cautiously because the early warning system does not prove that the vaccines cause the safety outcomes. Well, of course they didn't, because you're not liable, so you would put that in your paper. I implore each and every one of you to not stick an experimental anything anywhere near your body. If you want some proven medication and you're looking for life-saving medications and staying out of the hospital, check out Jace Medical. Links below where you can get a discount exclusively from our channel. We've partnered with Jace Medical to get you the Jace case. What every household needs: emergency preparedness, antibiotics, and a guidebook for their safe use. We're talking 5 emergency life-saving medications, some of which are not even available, like amoxicillin, but you get protection from everything when you are not prepared. During a global pandemic, when you can't get into the hospital, an outdoor adventure where immediate attention of infection is needed, through a natural disaster when no one is coming to help, traveling in a foreign country perhaps. Everyone should be empowered to care for themselves and their loved ones during the unexpected. And the Jace case gives you 5 emergency life-saving medications for wound infections, bioterror, pneumonia, bladder and kidney infections, traveler's diarrhea, and more. These 5 antibiotics cover the entire spectrum of bacterial infections where you will need them. And I implore you to get a kit for yourself and your family to stay safe. And that's a boom to knowledge. Proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance. Hope you got something out of the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Share this with like-minded people. Become a Patreon. Support the work we do. We love you. And have a happy holiday. Merry Christmas. And that's a boom.